Yo, yo, yo. We are online. I'm just gonna put the chat here. Okay. So today I want to go over how to animate cloth sheets, and this process it's been always on my mind, and today I wanted to go over how to do it. I have a project file that I can still use to reference some stuff, but I will basically try to rebuild it from scratch. So it will be fun. I think I have a reference photo here, which I can actually maybe use. Daily renders. This one. Yeah. So we're going to be animating this, and we're going to get full control over the textures and everything. So I was thinking maybe start by rebuilding those textures and then putting it into Cloner and animate this with cloth. So it will be definitely interesting to see how to do this. I maybe open the previous project file. I named it cloth jump, which there's nothing like that, but it's basically getting that cloth effect, and at the same time being able to animate and have a control of over all the textures. So I just want to rebuild it, make it as good looking as possible. In this example, I was using in the material I was using shader switch. So I was basically using this node to switch between all these materials, and using mod node and integer user data, but it didn't work out as per documentation. I was checking the Redshift documentation, and it was basically I was meant to put preset MoGraph object ID, and this way the cloner would assign to each geometry, basically each sheet would assign the material. But it didn't work out that well for me, because as you can see, if I just flick through it, they keep changing as I keep animating. So what I was thinking instead today, I'm just gonna go and manually create maybe 5 sheets of that will match together, and then once I have those, we can animate it. So it depends what you want to do first. We can either create those sheets, or we can animate it first, but either way it's going to be super interesting. I can maybe start by creating the trusty backdrop and maybe look how it's looking. Okay, have something like this, which we can't really see anything. I was also thinking, to save time, we can use some of the Grayscale Gorilla plastic materials. So that will be fun as well, because this way we have these colorful plastics. They take longer to render, but they look really good, and they have all these beautiful bumps to them, so that could create nice variety. And they also organized by P1, all these colors, they work together P2, so it could be interesting. I really like this light blue and dark, so am I going to use those and then rebuild everything else? So let me apply this one first, and I'm gonna look into it. Actually, I'm just gonna put Redshift and node and then reapply this, and this way it will apply the new node editor, and I will look. There's no displacement here, so that's fine. So it's just bump, and so we have the first one, and then I'm gonna create a duplicate of it. So Control C, Control V. Yeah. I'm gonna get rid of the material here, and I'm just gonna move this maybe to 10. So let's say this one is gonna be in Y position 5, and if they are really small, maybe I can move this to, you know, increments of 2, so 7, and do the same, like 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say 6 will be fine. Maybe 7, 8. Yeah, I will duplicate some of those. So now we have a plane, and it's duplicates, and they all like distributed this way. The reason why I do it this way is because if I put them in a cloner, and I just basically want to try to do it manually. So we'll see how this works. So 5, 7, 9, then 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19. So I have my sheets. And if I put them into cloner now, straight away, and put it into the linear mode, bring them back up, and then I can bring that count back. I think it was 8 of those. Okay, so I have that one. Hey, Amir. Sorry, I can't read it, mate. Yeah, I'm gonna start by actually putting materials on it. Just make it something blue, nice. And I can put some texture. Maybe some texture for like some fabric texture. So I have some of those here. Let me just pull that up. Cloth textures. So cotton check is something like this. Reflections. Just plugging in reflection roughness. Now the material I've got from useful materials from the, I like this one with this pattern, so we could use one of those. That creates like a nice grid pattern, and we're gonna put it very tiny, just so we get nice. If I go close to it, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. We can also put the cloner into the cloth surface and increase the thickness of those. So get those sheets. But this is not important now. Yeah, what I'm practicing now is basically is this scene. I'm gonna be showing how to animate this, you know, how to animate that jump of this clothy, and you can put any, you know, this could be Instagram post, this could be cloth, flying cloth, or this could be anything really. You trying to show like a different textures and animated. So for now, I might use actually the colorful plastic materials, just so we not waste any time. I use some of this one, just trying to keep the same blue color scheme, and maybe the purple one. Okie doke. Then one orange, just to spice it up a little. Hello, how you doing? So we have that. So we can apply cloth tag straight to cloner, and this will essentially made it like if I'm going to bring the simulate forces and then bring the field force and bring the random field, and I can bump it, I should be able to see this. So this is awesome, but we have no control over it. So I'm gonna turn off as well the field force, just so we don't see it in the viewport. And to get control of this, we'll first need to set it up differently. So I have these planes, and this is like a starting position, and then we're gonna have the final position. And the way we achieve that, we put on that cloner plane effector. So now plane effector lifted by 100 centimeters, which we don't want as well. So I'm just gonna put 0 for now, and maybe just dial it manually. And you see it lifts the whole thing up. So the whole thing is kind of a no-go for us. So we can go to fields, and this is I watched it on tutorial of Telina graphics, I think, of Telina. So he showed this step effector. So the step will basically make it that now that I animate these, and because it's a separate layers, I can animate them separately, and I can even go that you know, into that remap and then control how they will be reacting when they this kind of elevate. So right now we will set up that initial, so the initial position is without the effector here, and now I'm going to set up the position that will be the final position. Another cool thing which I've never done before was using the curve on a contour. So you can really dial in, like you can hold control, click on the line, and you see I'm just partially controlling and giving it some randomness. So this is really good in bringing that kind of random element to it. And then you can also control that the whole thing will lift, or some of them will stay there. And I'm generally trying to keep all the points that they always, you know, the next one is above the other one. So this way it will seems natural. Otherwise, if this one surpassed that one, that it passed right through it. So that we don't want that. But now if I go to the effector, there is the strength, and we can now animate this whole jump. But that's not it. We can also animate the rotation. So we can let it rotate a little bit. We can tilt it. So we can tilt it to the opposite direction or to this direction. I use banking for it. Maybe this one, no. And we use banking to tilt it to this direction. So 70 like this. So this would be our final position. And if I go to the effector, there is a strength slider, and now I can just, control that jump, which is super awesome. Like I can literally animate all those things here. Like I can say like, oh, it's gonna be, it's gonna go to the X, and that effector will affect it. So you don't have to animate all those parameters. You just animate this one, which essentially make it much easier to animate and make it looks much better when you don't have to animate multiple curves. So you can just go into the, what do you call this animating thing? Wait, I'm gonna save it. Now I notice I didn't save. So C40 projects, we call it paper, cloth, jump, stream. Okie doke. And so now I have this plane effector and I have a strength. So I'm gonna animate it. So I'm gonna say this is 125 frames. So it's gonna go first 50 frames. And I'm just gonna animate the strength. And now because I have the cloth tag on it, it just doesn't react to it. So for now, I can get rid of the cloth tag. I can keep focusing on the animation. And we'll introduce it again later. So this is the animation at its full. Oh, it's actually not. This is animation at 100%. And then we go to the end and going back to 0. So essentially what we've created, if I'm going to go to the F-curve mode, we can look at the whole thing. I'll just drag this. And I can create this. So some sort of, okay, maybe I should only hold that one. So if I'm gonna just like whoop, and then it's gonna go slowly back. Okay. So we have controlling that. And now we can just simply go to plane parameter. I don't want that X position. I just want it to be straight. I'm gonna still look if I can improve somehow that look, that final position. I can also go to those fields, to that step, and kind of fix that. So I can just maybe have more of those lift like that. Yeah, let's say I'm happy with this for now. This one is wrong. Just to give it a little bit of randomness, just so they're not completely next to each other in the same distance. That's too jumpy. Okay, so let's say I'm happy with this animation now. And what am I going to do now is I kind of reposition my camera, so I don't want to see that initial position. I literally want to be in some kind of a position like here. So I'm just going to go to that camera. I'm just going to zero all coordinates, 0, 0, 0. And also I'm going to lift it a little bit up. I'm going to take this backdrop down. I don't need to see the bottom of it. So I just need to see it like that. I'm going to move whole thing since this is a little bit off. I'm just going to keep it more in line with that. And okay, so I have that, and now I can apply the cloth tag. So I'm going to go to the simulation tags and apply the cloth. And once I apply the cloth, it just doesn't follow anymore. So that's why I wanted to bring in this tool, the mix in animation, which essentially make it possible for you to animate anything, put on a cloth tag on it, and then if I do with pins, I will have this influence slider, and I can set it roughly to 65 and see what it does. I can still animate, and now it's influenced by the cloth, you know, but we can still see the animation. And now it's about, you know, bringing that stretchiness and bendiness to its full potential. So I had like 200. I can check the numbers in my previous file because it was, I think it was a lot. It was, let's start with 200 and 200, and then also go to the field force and start. Oh, I thought there's no random field. So let's bring up that random field, like a lot. And now when we change the scale, it still does nothing. And I was bringing scale to all the way to 2000. When I'm changing, I feel like I'm changing a lot of parameters right now that without establishing the cloth surface, like the bendiness of it. The next thing can help bring more subdivisions in the cloth tag. I can see it like flickering, but it still does nothing. And that's the good way to go to mix in animation and drop it lower. It might be 35%. I don't remember really well, so it's all about juggling that. So I'm just gonna lower it down, and you will see, you will lose about that animation. Now it's kind of jiggly, but you will start seeing some effects. I'll take it 2000 and bring the field force like really way up. Let me check first. It seems like I've been doing everything like yesterday, but let me check my previous file. So you see the setup is exactly the same. And so stretchiness, bendiness 2000 and stretchiness 55. So let's copy those numbers actually. Bendiness 1000 and stretchiness 55. And then we check the field force. So there's a random field of 2700%. Wow, it's a lot. And then there is the random field with smaller values. So set absolute velocity, we can see that this is where I did the mistakes, because yesterday I was changing, like change direction, set absolute velocity. And also one of the things I forgot, and now I remembered, if you look at here, when you mix in animation and you do follow shape, that makes a lot of difference, because in my new file, hey Mist Cat, thank you so much. You're so nice. I love your stuff too. That's so cool. Thank you so much. Such a nice people. Wow. So now I have the influence too much. So if I bring the random fill like really way up, that's so cool. You are the second person that sent me money ever on my stream. Thank you so much. Now I feel like I want to support you back. How do I do this? So I have obviously still a couple issues, so I'm just gonna double check with my previous. So this is a 600 random field. I'm just gonna check this. And we're gonna do that follow shape. So I obviously, Mist Cat totally threw me off because I completely forgot about I need to take that follow shape. So once you follow the shape, it will behave a little bit better. We still have glitches, but that's fine. We'll get rid of those. I'm gonna bring in more subdivisions. I think it's the random fill that does the thing, but we can check what I use random fill Perlin. Yeah, I used that 2700. And when I go to the cloth, the influence, so this is a vertex map, but I don't think it was doing anything because I deleted later on. So that map scale, it doesn't do anything. It's 57 as the number. And if I look at that cloth, it's way more subdivided. So we're just gonna keep subdividing. I think I'll keep using that. That's so strange. And yesterday, the thing I use subdivision surface first. So am I gonna do it completely the same? Just gonna do the subdivision surface first, and so I'm just gonna delete this. I'm just gonna right click this, and I say delete without children. I will just get rid of it. Now I'm gonna apply the subdivision surface. That might be a better idea. Maybe behave better. It looks better, but it still does the glitch. I'm just gonna get rid of the rotation for now. I'm just gonna also look into that plane effector, what it does there. So 300 and no rotation, rotation 70 and minus 19, rotation 70 and minus 19. So I completely copied. I'm just trying different noises. I know what's changed from yesterday. It's a scale of the object that I was using. Basically, when I'm troubleshooting this problem now, I realize that plane here has 200 centimeters and the plane here is only 40. So we should use basically 5 times lower the numbers. So let's do that. Who's gonna do the math? I'm just gonna go, it's gonna be, let's say 700. And random field obviously is going crazy. But we can just go here, an increasing scale, and look at that. Yeah, so this is slowly getting there. I'm just gonna change it back to noise because that's something looking more natural for this, which I can't find anymore. No noise. Okay. I'm blind. I'm really mod noise. Seriously, I'm just gonna bring new random fill. Ah, it's parallel by default. My mistake. So 7, let's do 1500, which will calm it down. And we get nice wavy. Oh yeah, so this is already somewhere where I like it to be. And now we can increase that strength. Maybe not so much. And also, I think why it's happening is as well the stretchiness is too much, and we need to lower these numbers since we have the smaller objects. So always like the scene scale matters so much. So oh nice. Just gonna look at these, how it's looking. I'm gonna go to camera, change it to 85 mil, just so we have more zoomed in look, and I'll go a little bit back. Just gonna change the setting as well to some squares, so 1080 to 1080. This is for now, this will be fine. And I'm just gonna zoom a little bit up like that, and reduce the dome light a little bit. And we're gonna bring in spotlight, and I'm just gonna move it in the Z position back, just so we looking at it with the spotlight, and put a target tag on the spotlight, and spotlight, and we put one of the new I really like well, I go by Zach. He created this HDRIs, gobos, animated gobos that are really good looking. So Moody Palms, my new favorite. Yes. So just gonna increase that, and we do the spread a bit more and make it more from a side and a bit more up. Okay, let's say for now, that's fine. We can go also to the softness by the gobo, and we can bring in like a 25. That will get rid of the shadow made by the gobo. The next thing we can do, if I increase this, I really like what it does. Maybe I reduce the softness to only to 2, and I really like the shadow it throws just over the fabric like that. And I don't like this light to be on the wall behind. I just want it to be on itself. So I go to Spotlight, go to the Project tab, and exclude that backdrop. And now I have the light only on those, which already starting to look nice. What do you guys think, son? For now, it's good. Are we still keeping up? I still need to fix that look. It needs to look better, but we'll get there. That was my plan for today, to make this animation and make it live, just so you all can see that. I've always wanted to make this animation because I watch these Microsoft videos and I'm like, I need to know that. And this is what I was watching tutorials from Vtelina Graphics, and he was doing like a complex setup of this, and I'm like, this doesn't need to be that complicated. Or I didn't understand how he was doing it. He was using like multiple setup belts and putting it into, what is it called, fracture, and I really didn't know how to do that because I don't speak his language. So I usually end up watching tutorials in other languages because there is none in English. But you know, okay, I can go into that mixing animation, and I can turn off the render for now. Okay, this is too much. 73. This is more like it. It's all about the finding that right. Now I'm going to be upping the scale until I see the correct waves. So you see the noise coming through this and creating those little waves. So I'll just increase the scale. And now I'm just going to get smaller waves, I mean larger waves, so it doesn't create such a and then I can go into the stretchiness and bendiness. I may do bendiness like 2500. That still does nothing we want. I'm gonna lift the camera up so I don't see that initial stage. I'm gonna make the plane effector just go even more up, just maybe by 70. So you get like better jump, better rotation. And they all is kind of moving. So I guess more clones you introduce, the more problematic will be. But It's already looking like a fun. It's probably too much, so 50 will be fine. You know, and because this is square, like this could be, I was thinking like this could be anything. This could be Instagram posts. You know, you're designing them flat, then you rotation animation, and this will come up. It could be really anything you just work on now, because you have control over all of the materials. You're gonna one by one, you can just upload any square texture and it will fit perfectly on there. So that's one of the benefits of doing it this way, even though it's kind of a janky setup still. I just feel like yesterday I was able to create better wave. What if I grab all this? Wow. This is so pretty. Maybe I render this quickly. Just give me a second. I need to render this. I hope it's not gonna take like 6 minutes. No, it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna share this project file also after the stream. So usually I'm trying, like everything I make here, I'm trying to share it if there is no models or if there is no textures. So I can try to rebuild it with my own textures and then just make it available on Gumroad if you guys want this setup. I think this one so far works the most, that one I made yesterday. I will try to copy it and take it into the cloner. We'll see if it works the same. It probably won't. I think this does nothing, this linear field. Yo. But thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate that. I'm just gonna save this daily JPEG. Where is the one? PNG. Yeah, fabric jump. Call it fabric jump version 2. Thank you for letting me render this. I'm going back and I'm grabbing all this. Am I? I'll try. Or maybe I create a new one. Yeah, it seems to be like a combination of subdivisions. Nice. I put it in a cloth, surface, no subdivision, a little bit more thickness. Nice one. Maybe I create even more. We can stack them. It's taking a bit longer, but we're gonna see them better. So let's do just 10, and we're gonna yo. So we're gonna try to play with that more, get that fabric going by increasing the bendiness. But I don't feel like bendiness does anything to it at this point. Like we are at 3000 and I think it's bending quite good. It might be that they are so, far from each other that they're not interacting. So one thing could be to put them closer to each other. And the way it could be done, it would be through that plane field step and creating just kind of a contour. Yeah, so that doesn't really work unless we're gonna go back to 8 cloners, because that's our original count. And if I go to that plane effector, go to that step, I can this is the quadratic. If I load preset, yeah, like this wave here, that's really something that's slowly getting, so I can go into mix in animation. Yeah, now it's doing what I really wanted. So just have these like a little folds and really get that detail. So once you get that, all the numbers kind of work together. So it's about like influence of the mix in animation. Then you check the bendiness and stretchiness of the fabric. And once you have the mix in animation, bendiness, stretchiness, you can also check, you know, the steps, how they layered, and then also random field in a field force, which with the strength as well. So if I bump the strength again, like you see, it does a lot, and we can decrease this by just going lower on scale, but this will introduce unwanted artifacts. Like it's gonna be too wild for us to, you know, control. So if I'm gonna go less, so it was 800, we were fine there. I'm just gonna roll back. Yeah, so if I pause here, I quite like it. So I can make it larger just so you guys also can see it. I don't need to see the field force. I can increase this, and now you can play with, you know, texturing this properly. But the best thing to do, like once you know you have something that you really like, this is the movement I like, the best one is to cache it. So to cache it is to just go to that cloth tag, go to the cache, and calculate cache or cache scene. If you have a lot of multiple tags, but you can calculate cache. I just forgot one down there. I'm just gonna cancel it, and I'm gonna go to that plane effector and go to that curve and maybe bring it up. Maybe this way it will bring up that one as well. Yeah. There's some, yeah, so that will be fine. And I'm just going to clear cache and calculate it again. Yes. So the cache is done. And now I can literally just scrap through it. So it's so easy for me to just really start texturing it and playing it, because there's nothing calculating anymore. Now this is animation I've committed to, so and now I have this, and I can really start playing. Like, we can go one by one and go into these textures and start actually replacing it with our own, or we can keep using the Grayscale Gorilla ones. So after cloth surface, I can plug in another subdivision, and this rounded up that. Have you seen that mistake there? So you can notice, like, because it's in a subdivision surface and then in cloth surface, then increase the thickness, but then you need to put into another subdivision to fix that cloth surface mistake. So now you have a nice thick fabric, and it's also completely soft on all edges. So what can we do? We can bring in any type of textures. I still can't believe, like, Mistcat, so nice. Love your stuff and have a nice stream. That's so cool. So top of the textures, this one's quite fine, but I think we can do better. We can try rebuild our own. So I'm just gonna go into materials, standard, and put it back on that plane. And this is what I was talking. It's really powerful because now you have all the control over that jump. You can always change it, recache it, and you can change all the materials at your will. So it's really cool. I would like to see what do you guys think about these nodes, like the flakes node. I like the flakes tile node. And what is other texture nodes? Tiles, flakes, and brick. Yeah. So for the flakes, we can actually create a node, another standard material. I was using it literally in my last tutorial. I hope I can still remember it, because I don't think I still do. So how do I organize this? We don't need to see this anymore. So I'm just gonna hide this and put this there actually. Yeah, what are we thinking? You guys don't want to talk to me today? I totally get it. Sometimes I don't want to talk as well. Well, on these streams, there's number one rule. You always be talking, because otherwise it's a dead stream. And since I don't have music, I need to be always talking. So we have standard material, and I have another one here. So I'm just going to rebuild this flakes node. We're going to get rid of the reflections, get rid of the color, and bring in transmission. So this will be our standard. I need to check the documentation actually. I always forget that. It's so simple, and always. You guys always checking the Redshift documentation? Flakes shader. And bump. Nope. This one. Transmissive material, metallic flakes into material layer. Gotcha. So another standard actually. This will be our metallic. So I'm going to increase the metalness on this one. This is our metallic, and we have transparent and material layer. So our glass into the base, and then flakes into the layer color, and then out alpha as a layer 1 mask. This way we mask out all the empty space in between, and now we have that material layer that can go to the surface. Oh yeah, we need to lay it on top of... Do we? Or is this just that transparent? Okay, I'm gonna do metallic texture here and into another material layer. And into the color. Okay, now I have the flakes on top, which look really good. We're just gonna make them smaller. Like a nice silver sheet. But the reason why I brought these notes, because my boy, I didn't check the chat. How you doing, Mr. Accessible Maxim? Yeah, how you doing? It's so good to see you always. I see you've been streaming on Twitch. Yeah, it's totally not reacting to my animation. Redshift just dead. Is it? Oh, yeah, it should be reacting. Yeah, it is. It's just, it takes time. It's a lot of textures. A lot of textures. So I'll hide this again. And so we have the silver sheet, but the one thing with the flakes node, you can like ramp, and you can use that ramp as a outflakes ID. Bum, bum, bum. As an alt input. And that alt input goes into the color of the flakes, am I right? And now I can maybe pick some colors from here. So blue one. And I can get those purple one. Is it purple? Is he? And I can get that sheet rolling. But the silver one was better for sure. It looks really nice when it's like just tiny. Tiny, tiny. Teeny, tiny. You can bring that orange too. Get that strange material going. And then instead of Voronoi, I change it to dots. That's well interesting. I can't see anything. But it's definitely interesting. I'll just keep it silver. I don't know if I like it colored. That looks much nicer. And if I want to flip these, I just want a blue one on top. This should do it. Does it? Please. Nope. It does nothing. But we have all those here's as well. So we can look into those. And I have the blue one here. And this one is very simple. There's only this fabric texture, which does nothing. If I plug this into color, we see it's just kind of this fabric texture. So we can use it. We can use it in a combination with maybe those tile nodes. I've been enjoying tiles actually. Let's have a look. Plug them into color and see how is this stretched out. But you can make smaller ground. You can actually test different looks. So this is creating fabric sheet. And if I change the U scale and V scale, or if I change the global scale instead, I can really get the fabric look going, and we can make it gray. And instead of blue, we just make it dark gray. And we have beautiful fabric like that. And I think you can use that tile mode as well. Like you can just plug it as a roughness, or you can do the bump and do it as a height map. Oops. Can't really see it from here. So yeah, I think I will share this file with you. I have massive delays on my streams. So sometimes people like reply to me and I realize there's like a 5-minute delay. I need to fix my OBS because people like talking to me and I've been replying to them and then they hear it after 10 minutes. But I'm good. I'm good. I've been learning a lot lately, but it's just trying to find time and utilize all this knowledge. I've been playing with Houdini lately. I did my first project with Houdini Isn't Scary, which was awesome. I did the donut with sprinkles. So I feel like Houdini will be eventually part of my workflow as well. I need to stop playing with the timeline. In terms of that tile, maybe we can bring some color in because I feel like it's getting a bit. Oh, it was that one. Now we have still a couple nodes here, like the purple one. I really like it to be here instead of there. The orange one could be also after that, just so we get different contrast. Okay, it's time for a restart. Save project. No saving this one. Five hours a day. Oh my god. I did like 3 hours this week in total. And that already destroyed my life. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show you. I'm just gonna show you Houdini. Yeah, my Redshift crash. It just gave me the crash pop-up. Maybe I've opened too many windows. Yeah, so I was doing this dynamic. Yeah, I've read about it. I've read about the memory leaks fix, temporary fix, which should be working for all of us, which is fantastic news. I've been constantly checking for a new update for DaVinci Resolve and new update for Redshift. We still don't have new update for Redshift, right? We do now. It's just for cinema. Okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, so this is the file I've been working. So today we're working on a cloth animation, but I was just quickly showing this Houdini project file I've created. I don't even remember. Do I still remember? Attrib transfer, switch node, scatter, object merge, attrib create. So if I go to object level, yeah. So I was doing tutorial to creating that donut first, then icing, then sprinkles, and then we created these dynamic sprinkles from like a popnet, dope network. I still have no idea what I'm talking about, and we plug that into regular sprinkles, and you can switch in between those. A super cool tutorial. Yeah, I know nothing about Houdini. Nothing. Back to C4D, where I know a little bit. A little bit. Did you... When you gonna upload into YouTube? Maxim, you need to tell me. Access motion. Motion access. I cannot find your YouTube channel. I'm typing it bad. I'm a subscriber. Accessible. Got it. Guys, all subscribe to this channel. This guy is gonna be master. He's gonna be destroyer. Man, I've heard your English. Your English is better than mine, and your voice sounds nicer. So, no excuses. We are back. Why is it so slow? I thought I cached this. I'm gonna need to cache it again. Wait, is this geometry matters? Because it's caching it with all the geometry. If I turn off all the subdivisions, that definitely matters. That's fine. Okay, so this is the one we had. So if I cache scene, shower time. Man, you are like the clock. You're always on time. Always come and then shower time. I'm jealous. So this is cached, right? Whoop. You. Okay, up. And now I look at this. And I can turn on the subdivision, another one, which will fix those corners there. I can really just go and have a look. I have a little bit of stretching here. The orange one. So I can maybe decrease the stretchiness on that one. How do you guys like this jump? Is it good looking already? Why is it so slow? It's just that subdivision surface killing it. Yeah. It's just too much geometry, even though it's cached. I see. Okay, so I'll try to clear cache again. And so now it's calculating again. It's taking a little bit more, but I'm just gonna reduce that stretchiness because I don't like how it's stretching the textures. I've got that, so I need to get a little bit of stretchiness. Just give it some room. Okay, I got 5. Now this is just amount. So now I cache this again. Do you guys want me to share this file on Gumroad? I can upload it tonight because I think if I rebuild if I rebuild all the textures, then I'm free to share it. And then you can play with those simulations. Maybe you can find even better jump. I think this should go on more. So if I look at that strength, it's such a weird behavior. And as well, like if it's cache, it's clear cache. Do I need to cache the scene? I probably do. So the next thing I did with lighting, if I go to camera, I just zoom back a little. I just kind of position in the middle. So this is much better. And I have this lighting, so I can go to that dome light that is illuminating. And I have also the spotlight with the animated gobo from I Go by Zach. So I can even reduce it even further and get that like a nice look of just that light streak, and then have another area light which I can change to disk, so it's rounded, and I can make it smaller and also make it like 60%, to create a gradient around. So it's kind of rounded, and make the intensity just very little. And this is the lighting I've been enjoying lately a lot. You know, just having that dome light, like really, really low. Like this is powerful dome light. This is the PG Skies. So this is really powerful dome light, but having it like really, really low, like doing almost nothing. So, but you know, when I bring it just a little bit up, it's doing a lot of. So, and then spotlight is basically maybe too much. It's just exposure like 4.3. This is like overblown, and this is, pardon, this is not enough. So like this could be just enough. This is kind of this soft look, but I like personally a little bit brighter, just kind of this shine. And I feel like I want to render it. So I think for today it was super awesome. You guys, some of you have been watching here the whole time, so thank you so much, and we'll see each other in the next one. I will put this up on Gumroad for all of you, just so you can study that, and you can maybe try your own and textures, and you can just send me your examples of what you've been creating. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.